The Star of Bethlehem and the Three Wise Men. Discover the magical story of the Star of Bethlehem and the three wise men on their quest for the baby Jesus. A journey of hope and unity under the light of a star that changed the world. Join us in this tale of faith and true love, the heart of Christmas. Once upon a time, under the cloak of a starry night, a light began to shine with unprecedented intensity. It was not an ordinary star, but a special luminary announcing to the world an extraordinary event. In distant lands, wise men of heart and mind gazed upon this celestial phenomenon with wonder and hope. This heavenly glow was the Star of Bethlehem, and its appearance signaled the birth of a child destined to be king, a being of goodness and light whose story would be told for generations. From different corners of the world, three kings, guided by the same celestial curiosity and ancient wisdom, looked up to the sky and understood the meaning of this new star. Although their paths had not yet crossed, they shared a common purpose: to follow the star to find the new king. Melchior, Gaspar, and Balthazar, each ruler of his own kingdom, prepared to embark on a journey that would change their lives and those of many others. With hearts full of faith and eyes fixed on the guiding star, they set out to discover the miracle that had illuminated the night sky. Thus begins the story of the Star of Bethlehem and the Three Wise Men, a tale of faith, hope, and the relentless pursuit of the truth behind the light that crossed the sky that magical night. In distant lands, three kings ruled their realms with wisdom and justice. Each, in his own domain, had been blessed with the wealth of knowledge and love for the truth. The appearance of the Star of Bethlehem in the night sky marked the beginning of a journey that would unite their paths in search of a common destiny. Melchior, the eldest of the three, was known for his great scholarship and deep respect for the cosmos. From his palace in the east, he had studied the stars all his life, and witnessing the appearance of the star, he had no doubts about its meaning. It was the sign of a new king, one who would bring peace and justice to the world. Determined to honor this king, Melchior chose gold as his gift, a symbol of power and royalty, and began to prepare his journey towards the place the star indicated. Gaspar, of middle age and ruler of a kingdom rich in culture and art, was a man of unshakable faith. The light of the star touched his spirit, filling him with indescribable hope and joy. He understood that he was destined to find the child who would change the course of humanity. He chose frankincense, a symbol of divinity and worship, as his offering, and set off to the west, following the path lit by the star. Balthazar, the youngest and ruler of a kingdom in the southern lands, was brave and kind-hearted. The star inspired him to reflect deeply on his purpose and the future of his people. Recognizing the importance of this celestial event, Balthazar chose myrrh, a gift that symbolizes both suffering and healing, reflecting the human and divine nature of the child king. With determination, he joined the quest, guided by the light in the sky. Although they set off from distant places and without knowing each other, the three wise men were united by the same faith and determination. Laden with their valuable gifts and accompanied by their caravans, they set out to cross deserts and mountains, guided only by the star on their journey to an encounter that would change their lives and the whole world forever. As the star shone in the sky, marking the way, the three wise men began their preparations for the long journey ahead. Though each started his journey from a different corner of the world, they shared a common purpose that guided them: to find the child king announced by the star and offer him their gifts as a sign of respect and adoration. Melchior, from his kingdom in the east, ordered his servants to prepare the most robust of his camels, adorning it with fine, colorful fabrics. In a carved wooden box, he carefully placed the gold, shining under the torchlight. This precious metal, worthy of a king, was his offering to the child born under the mysterious star. Along with a group of loyal followers and wise men from his court, Melchior set out to cross deserts and valleys, following the light that cut through the night sky. Gaspar prepared in his kingdom, full of fervor and devotion. He chose the most agile of his horses, covering it with blankets embroidered with gold and silver threads. In an alabaster container, he stored the frankincense, whose sacred scent would fill the air around the child king, symbolizing his divine nature. Accompanied by musicians and poets from his land, Gaspar began his journey to the west, inspired by the promise of the star and the sacred encounter that awaited him. Balthazar, with a heart full of hope and courage, chose for his journey an elephant, a symbol of strength and dignity in his kingdom. In a gem-encrusted chest, he placed the myrrh, his gift for the child, representing his humanity and the deep meaning of his birth. Surrounded by warriors and advisors, Balthazar set off from the south, determined to overcome any obstacle in his quest for the true king. As they departed from their kingdoms, the three kings faced the challenges of the road with bravery and faith, knowing that each step brought them closer to their destination. The star guided them, bright and constant, through cold nights and scorching days, toward an encounter that had been prophesied since ancient times. With everything ready for their great adventure, the three wise men, each setting out from his respective kingdom, embarked on their journey under the guidance of the star. Though their paths began separately, the star guided them on a route that would eventually converge, leading them to join together in a shared journey to Bethlehem. This journey would be full of challenges, but also of wonderful revelations. Melchior, riding his faithful camel, crossed vast deserts. The sand, golden under the sun and silver under the moon, seemed to stretch infinitely. During the day, the heat was scorching, and at night, the cold penetrated to the bone. However, Melchior did not falter. His spirit remained strong, and his gaze fixed on the star. Along the way, he encountered travelers and nomads, sharing stories with them and learning from their wisdom. These interactions reaffirmed his faith and the importance of his mission. Gaspar ventured through rich and fertile lands, crossing rivers and forests where flora and fauna vibrated with life. His caravan was a spectacle of color and music, attracting the curious and seekers of wisdom. Gaspar, with his generous nature, welcomed all, sharing his knowledge about the star and the child he was destined to visit. Throughout his journey, the difficulties of the road were mitigated by the kindness and hospitality of those he encountered, reminding him that the light of the star not only guided him but also touched the hearts of people along his path. Balthazar, facing the highest mountains, marveled at the majesty of creation. The ruggedness of the terrain tested his endurance and that of his entourage, but it also offered moments of deep contemplation and connection with nature. The star, ever present, was his beacon in the darkness, his comfort in the solitude of the mountains. Balthazar found in this journey deep introspection, a spiritual preparation for the encounter with baby Jesus. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the three kings, guided by the star, finally met. It was a moment of great joy and fraternity, for they realized that their individual quest had also been a shared pilgrimage. United now, the wise men continued their journey together, strengthened in spirit and purpose, drawing ever closer to the place where they would find the child king, whose birth had been announced by the star that had guided them through so many trials and discoveries. With the three wise men united in their mission, the journey to Bethlehem took on new meaning. The star, which had been their guide throughout their individual journeys, now shone more brightly, as if celebrating their union and determination. The journey, though still full of obstacles, became more bearable with the companionship and mutual support. Together, Melchior, Gaspar, and Balthazar shared stories of their kingdoms, dreams of a better future, and reflections on the meaning of the star and the child they were destined to find. As they progressed, the star seemed to move before them, leading them through landscapes that changed from arid deserts to fertile valleys, from rushing rivers to rugged mountains. Each night, as they set up camp, the wise men gazed at the sky, marveling at how the star remained constant, a beacon of hope in the darkness. One such night, as they contemplated the star, a shepherd approached their camp. He had seen the light of their campfires and came out of curiosity. Hearing the story of the wise men and their quest, the shepherd shared with them a simple but profound wisdom. the light of the star not only guided them but also illuminated in the hearts of all people the promise of peace and love that the child king would bring to the world. This encounter reaffirmed the wise men's faith in their mission, reminding them that the true journey was not only through the land but also within their own souls. As they approached Bethlehem, the star seemed to descend, marking the exact place where they would find the child. It was as if heaven and earth were joined at that point, uniting the divine with the earthly. The wise men, seeing this, were filled with indescribable emotion. They knew they were about to witness a moment that would change the world forever. Finally, after long months of travel, they arrived on the outskirts of Bethlehem. The star stopped over a humble place, very different from the palaces and riches they were accustomed to. But they understood that true greatness is not always found in external opulence but in the purity and light that emanate from within. Upon arriving on the outskirts of Bethlehem, the three wise men felt a mix of excitement and reverence. The star had ceased its movement and shone with a peaceful intensity over a modest place, marking the end of their long journey. Though tired from the journey, the spirit of Melchior, Gaspar, and Balthazar was filled with renewed energy, knowing they were about to fulfill the mission that had guided them through deserts and mountains, uniting their destinies in a story that would be remembered forever. Before heading to the place indicated by the star, they decided to pass through the center of Bethlehem to gather information and prepare for the encounter with the child king. The city was more crowded than usual, due to a census ordered by the Roman authorities that required everyone to register in their hometown. This influx of people from various places added yet another challenge to their search, but the wise men were not discouraged. Their faith and the guidance of the star had brought them this far, and they trusted it would lead them to the end of their journey. As they made their way through Bethlehem, the wise men attracted looks of curiosity and wonder. Their distinguished appearance, rich garments, and the entourage that accompanied them were unusual in this humble place. However, their presence also inspired a certain peace and hope among the city's inhabitants, who sensed that these visitors were bearers of an important message. Seeking guidance, they met with Herod, the ruler of Judea, who, upon hearing the reason for their visit, showed intrigue and, at the same time, disturbance by the news of a new king. Herod asked them to inform him of their finding once they found the child, under the pretext of wanting to pay homage as well. The wise men, however, sensed tension in his words and decided to proceed with caution. Finally, guided by the star, they reached their destination. It was not a palace, but a humble stable, where they found baby Jesus, lying in a manger. His parents, Mary and Joseph, welcomed them with a serenity and warmth that filled the air. At that moment, all material things lost their importance in the presence of the divine child. The wise men knelt, overwhelmed by emotion and the honor of being before the future king, the Prince of Peace. In the humility of a stable, under the gentle light of the star that had guided them through countless challenges and wonders, the three wise men found themselves before baby Jesus. Despite their long journey and expectations of finding a king in a palace, the simplicity of this moment deeply touched their hearts. There, in the pure and serene gaze of the child, they found a truth deeper than any wealth or power could offer. This was the king they had sought, a king whose kingdom was not of this world but of the heart and spirit. Melchior, moved to the depths of his being, stepped forward first. With reverence, he presented his gift of gold to baby Jesus. "This gold is for you, a sign of your royalty over this world and beyond," he said with a trembling voice, aware of the honor of being in the presence of the divine. Then, Gaspar approached, holding his offering of frankincense. As he unfolded it before the child, the scent filled the space, creating an atmosphere of holiness and adoration. "I offer you frankincense, a symbol of your divinity. Your presence here elevates us all," he expressed, his faith radiating in every word. Finally, Balthazar presented his gift of myrrh, a reminder of the child's humanity and the destiny that awaited him. "This myrrh is for you, reflecting your suffering and sacrifice for humanity." Though your path will be arduous, it will also be the source of our salvation, he shared, his eyes filled with a mix of sadness and hope. In that sacred moment, the wise men bowed before baby Jesus, recognizing in him not just an earthly king but the promised Savior, whose love and sacrifice would bring light to a world in shadows. Mary and Joseph watched with gratitude, their hearts full of love for their son, amazed by the faith and devotion of these travelers who had come from so far to honor him. As the wise men withdrew from the stable, a sense of peace and renewed purpose filled their souls. They knew this encounter would change the course of their lives forever, urging them to spread the message of hope and love that baby Jesus represented. Though they had to return to their respective kingdoms, they carried with them the light of the star and the promise of a new dawn for humanity. Thus concludes the story of the Star of Bethlehem and the Three Wise Men, a tale of faith, hope, and the search for light in the darkness. A story that reminds us of the importance of following our stars, always seeking that which gives true meaning to our lives.